Welcome. Peace, love, blessings from the Most High God, Maria Alaha, and His Son, Maria Yoshua Mashika, or Jesus the Messiah, Jesus the Christ. I am a registered minister online with a sound database, and also have registered my ministry when I finally came to the name Ministry of the Real Truth, because there are so many YouTube channels, etc., that call themselves the Real Truth, the Ministry of Truth, etc. Like many variations from evangelists to a Fix Your Love Life channel. So we decided on the Ministry of the Real Truth in New Zealand, and we registered it with the Sound Database. A little bit about us. We, the Ministry of the Real Truth NZ, through constant personal research, study, personal experience, having contact with others of the three major organised religions, Judaism, Christianity and Islam. Okay. We query them about the so-called holy text, scriptures, their claimed facts, proofs, evidence, the entire belief system. What do they believe personally? Is it the truth? Or do they have any problems with it? We relate back and forth, and we try to bring them to the real truth through the supposed hidden, therefore preserved, they were hidden for 2,000 years by the original Church of the East, the Assyrian Apostolic Orthodox Catholic Church of the East, founded by the original disciple Thomas when the Church of Jerusalem was destroyed, and ran across the country, went through China to India, founded many churches there before he and his brothers in faith were martyred. Through the supposed original Kitab Ashrit or Assyrian Aramaic, Nishana Antika or Cypriea, from the Brita or Genesis in English to Malachi, and then the Aramaic Galilean Aramaic New Testament manuscripts, again from the same Church of the East, hidden and preserved, hidden from Roman Catholics and also Islam, therefore preserved for 2,000 years, and testified as never been tampered with by a head patriarch or head of that church in 1957, Ma Isai Shamun, later assassinated in 1975, and then testified as the original manuscripts by a native-born Aramaic-speaking translator, Victor N. Alexander, who bought an original manuscript in biblical form of a high priest that he came across from that original church, and he translated that into English, the nearest English equivalent, and to what the original manuscripts were originally saying. And he also did the Galilean Aramaic, and also, which put out as the Disciples' New Testament, or the Aramaic New Testament, which we have a copy. We did have a copy. Oh, here we go. It's right here. Okay, so we also used to refer to his website, but it was down, but we found a way to revive it. So, as you'll probably see in most of our videos, we present that to you. It's from the original Aramaic New Testament, or Disciples' New Testament, translated from the original hidden and preserved Galilean Aramaic, translated by native-born Mesopotamian. He's from Bet Naharain, Victor Nimrod Alexander. It contains footnotes. We've got a pretty good deal, probably about 30 to 40 in New Zealand, and he sent it to us free, no postage, sorry, and we found a way to revive his down website, and as you can see on the videos, we refer to that quite often from the original Brita or Genesis to the Aramaic New Testament book of Revelations. Okay, so we would rather use ancient manuscripts. We also look at another site by I think he's a Messianic Jew, Christian Jew, called Andrew Gabriel Roth. He's translated the original Eastern Peshitta, Syriac Peshitta, from the same Church of the East. Okay, but we came across through the native-born Mesopotamian translator, Victor Alexander, that Syriac is actually wrong. So we tend to go with his translation more than the other one. We look at both of them. Right? When we use these modernized, Americanized Bible versions like the King James Version, NIV, ESV, RSV, Living Bible, etc., which we have vast numbers in our store shed, we refer to them as references rather than 100% non-corrupted, tampered with versions, right? We have them all in our garage here. We have thousands of them, from the Message to the NIV, etc. Even some Mooney books, and the Mormon Bible, etc. Jehovah's Witness Bible. It's all there, so we can refer to those. So we know what they know, but phonetically, almost phonetically, because reminds me of a quote by legendary Bruce Lee. He says, "For you to be the best of the best, you need to know it phonetically, almost phonetically, like a phonetic." So when we are confronted by these people, say on the street, or they come around our house and they try to preach us their belief system through their text, their Bibles, we know exactly what they're talking about, right? Okay, we know it better than them. So if they try to deceive us or trick us or whatever, we know exactly how they're doing it, because sometimes we found that sometimes they come and they try to convince you in order to convert you, and then they control you, and again convince you to put all your money into their offering through tithing and all that sort of deceitful methods, right? Get you to the church by any means, even resort to lying, trickery, deceit, etc. So this native-born Aramaic-speaking translator, Victor Alexander, apparently he went around the world and he looked at all the Mesopotamian artifacts in the museums, the British Museum, clay tablets, etc., discovered by Henry Layard in the 1900s. Saw that it had cuneiform on top, and then underneath it had the Aramaic, so translated into English, or his friends, etc. But he realised at some point that other people had been translating, probably using the modern derivative Syriac, and they botched it, like the American missionaries that went into Assyria with these King James Bibles, preached to many Mesopotamians, etc., Assyrians who became Christians, undertook the Christian faith, but they tried to translate the King James using the Syriac and botched it all up. So this Victor Alexander found a way to revive that supposedly dead language, and buying an original manuscript from the high priest of the original church, he translated it. And if you put into your YouTube search the Aramaic scriptures, it'll come up a video, the story of Adam and Eve, with the Adam and Eve story. He's an older man with a cap and white hair, and he's reading from this book, and it sounds like, with this Bible format, and it sounds like he's speaking a funny language. That's that ancient Kitab Esra, the ancient Assyrian Aramaic, or the Aramaic, Lishana Artika Sabra, he's translating it. He's speaking it and translating it into English, so that truth seekers, Christians out there, can have and know and learn from the original ancient Aramaic scriptures. Okay. So what we are doing with this video, we are urging people out there who are claiming to be truth seekers. It's time to wake up, stand up, and decide, or you can sit down if you want, is to come to the point where you need to decide, am I going to be 100% committed to the truth, okay, as I'm claiming I'm a truth seeker, or am I just going to be all fluff and all talk, right, and not walk the walk? We come to a point, if it's like that, it's like an architect. Before he builds a building, he sits down, he does a blueprint, he designs what it's going to look like, imagines what it's going to look like, etc., etc. He works on it, right? And then at the end of that, he decides, well, am I going to do it or not? Right? And if he goes with it, he commits himself fully. Okay? So that's what we're suggesting. Yeah? Learn how to surrender to God, etc. If it's really your desire that you want to walk and talk with God, live that spiritual life as a Christian, right? Walk the walk, stop talking the talk, and actually walk the walk. Okay? Or else go do something completely different, like design a house, build a house, and live out the rest of your life. Don't fluff around anymore. It's time to get up and walk the walk, and no longer talk the talk. Okay. For those who live it, know it. Those who know it, live it. That's a quote from famous self-help motivator Jim Rohn. It's not enough to believe, one must know. It's Dr. Ray Higgins. Okay. Again, to be the best of the best in anything or at anything, one must be near fanatical. Okay. And that way you'll achieve that goal. Okay. Yeah, so again, it's time to wake up, learn the real truth about the one true God and Redeemer, Maya Alaha, and his son Yosha Mashika, or Jesus the Messiah, from the original Old Testament scribal sacred old tongue. The original scribes spoke and wrote in, recorded all in the Old Testament. From the original ancient Brita or Genesis to Malachi, and from the original ancient or old Galilean Aramaic language spoken by Yahshua Mashiach, or Jesus the Messiah, and his disciples, the apostles and prophets that followed after him, up to John the Revelator of the last book called Revelations. Know the real truth, for that real truth will set you free, it will liberate you. Make you realize that you know that you have the real 100% real scriptures as taught by God through the Holy Spirit, by Jesus, or Jesus the Messiah. Brought to you through the original translations of the ancient Old Testament and the hidden preserved manuscripts, texts, translated honestly and faithfully by translator Victor N. Alexander. They were hidden for 2,000 years, therefore preserved, and he's translated them into English. The head patriarch Mar Isai Shimon actually attested in 1957 that they were as intact as the day they were given by the blessed hands of the Messiah. It was on the AramaicsScriptures.com website of Andrew Gabriel Roth, but it's disappeared. So we suggest again, if you can find his free PDF ebook on his translation of the Eastern Peshitta, the letter to someone else is contained in there from Ma Esau Shimon, stating that fact. We, the Ministry of the Real Truth, have a brand or business policy. Honesty is our best policy, and we strive to live by that policy. So we won't ever give you fluff or hype or other baloney sausage trying to fool you or for profit or cash gained by pulling the wool over your eyes. So we suggest to put down your modern Americanized versions, Bible versions, from the Good News, the Living Bible AMP or Amplified Version, etc., etc., because they come from one source, put out by the American Bible Society, and they're full of corruptions and lies. We're not saying get rid of them totally. You can use them as a reference when you have a question you want to compare. You can look at whichever version, compare this one with that one. Apparently that's the best way. You put them all side by side and you see the differences. Or you go to BibleHub.com and you can look there and see all the differences in the translations, etc. But it could still help you, to understand. Whereas with this original Aramaic translated in English and its idioms, the expressions that these Easterners use are totally different from the Western mindset, the Western idioms, etc. And it can be confusing because in the bottom of just about every page throughout all these books in the New Testament and even the Old Testament, there's footnotes. Victor Alexander has provided footnotes, and sometimes because of the Eastern mindset or Eastern thought or way of expressing things, it's back to front and it can be confusing. But we suggest that you simply subscribe to our channel, the Ministry of the Real Truth, and set that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our videos we upload, so you're up with the latest revelations that we going to teach you, bring to you, right? Anything else that we find, so you don't miss out. And then you can give us a like and go tell all your Christian friends, well, I'm a truth seeker and I'm really seeking the truth, and this guy from the Ministry of the Real Truth is providing me that real truth, 100% real truth from the original manuscripts, minus the hype, the fluff, and the bacon sausage. Okay, and he's not going to pull the all over your eyes, because he says honesty is his best policy, and it looks like he really sticks to that. Okay, so thank you for taking the time to watch our video. Hope it was interesting to you. Hope it will be insightful, etc., and help you on your way to knowing the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And being a truth seeker, you'll come to realise at some point that you really know the real truth according to the original scriptures. Okay, what was originally said by Christ and the disciples and the apostles to follow, and what the different books actually are saying compared with your modern Americanized Bible versions. This is our mission, to help you, the truth seeker, to find that truth and to be liberated, because there's so much ham and baloney out there that's been put across as the truth when it really isn't.